Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
In our first segment, we're talking about herbs for the barbecue. It's that time. Plant up or pot a window box with these herbs, and you'll be using them all summer.
Southern Magnolias are beautiful, versatile, evergreen trees. In our second segment, we're going to give you what you need to know before planting one of these gems.
In our third segment, we're going to discuss backyard trees. How to choose and planting in the right position is essential. And it also gives you a great start for cooling your house in the summer and warming up your house in the winter.
Hummingbirds are amazing flying jewels that visit our flowers each summer. We'll discuss attracting them in our fourth segment.
Finally, in our What's Buggin You segment, we're going to talk about the plant disease powdery mildew. This disease can thrive in both wet and dry conditions. We'll explain what you can do to get it under control.
So stay tuned. We will be right back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome's Triple Action contains 70% neem oil and 0.25% pyrethrins as a concentrate and ready to spray. It is an insecticide, fungicide, and miticide labeled to use on vegetables, fruits, nuts, herbs, spices, and ornamentals. This organic OMRI-listed product controls a wide variety of insect pests and diseases, including aphids, scale, spider mites, whiteflies, rust, leaf spot, and powdery mildew. This insecticide is an all-in-one bottle that will cure just about any problem you may run into throughout the year. Fertilome's Triple Action has been helping gardeners across the country for years. Best to apply in late evening and early morning hours. Mix 1 ounce, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. The best part is Triple Action may be used up to the day of harvest. So the next time you are visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Triple Action and expect to have the best looking plants in the neighborhood.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, it's summertime.
Oh, yes.
It is a great time of year, and that means barbecue.
Barbecue time.
Barbecue. I've already been to several barbecues. Haven't you, Julio? You do a barbecue?
I've been to 2.
2? There you go. Mm-hmm. See? Yeah. You can elevate your game on the grill just by adding a few fresh herbs. Mm-hmm. If you're still using those shaker bottles of herbs, you're in the past. You're living in the past. Yeah. Think about this. Let's start. Where do herbs grow? How do I grow my herbs? They need to be in full sun. Mm-hmm. Full sun. I have over-the-rail deck planters that have herbs in them, but you don't have to do it that way. You could do a regular window box on the ground near the grill, not so that the heat messes with them, okay, just saying. But also a large pot. Herb varieties that are a must. Okay. Got your pencils out?
Yep.
If you're driving, please be careful. Rosemary, chives, Italian parsley, as opposed to curly parsley.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. the ones that has a flat leaf and it looks just like cilantro.
Yeah.
But you can taste the difference, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so first of all, rosemary, there are different types of rosemary out there. There's one that's called barbecue.
Barbecue, huh?
If you're a starter, just get barbecue. Just get barbecue. It has long enough growth on it that you can actually use them as skewers. Ooh. Now, this is going to be the end of the summer. Talking about up in your game, you can use them as a skewer
that's great.
to hold everything together.
Yeah.
But you've got to let it get a little bit woody. And when we talk about woody, we mean that it's got to get more like a branch. And most of the time, they are perennial. So that's a great thing. But there's also, just to give honorable mention, there is a trailing type as well. Both have similar flavor, but I want the upright one. And that there are a number of different rosemaries. For the most part, you can't go wrong. But I encourage you, if you're shopping at Bloomers, take a little pinch, take a sniff. You'll know, by smell, of the kind of taste that it's going to bring to your food. And, all right, Aaron, I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
If you, for instance, could not smell, right? You lack the sense of smell, and that you had to eat. How much would you be missing? All right, let's scale 1 to 5. It's 1, I wouldn't be missing anything. 5, I'd be missing everything. If you couldn't smell the food come to you before you ate it.
I mean, I'd probably be around a 4.
A 4? Yeah. Julio?
Yeah, I would probably be a 5.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah,
if I couldn't smell it, I mean, I just think the sense of smell and taste are kind of connected.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
Mind,
yeah.
They are. And that's one of the things that fresh herbs bring you.
Oh, yeah.
Chives is another one. Oh, gosh.
You're a chive guy, aren't you?
I'm a chive guy, but here, because it's really, really versatile. So you're making eggs in the morning, right?
Right.
Scrambled eggs. Simple.
Yeah.
Throw them in, and you just take a scissors out and you cut a little pieces of chives, put it over top of the eggs just before they're done when they're still soft.
We use them in our home fries.
And that was the next thing, potatoes. With potatoes, yeah.
That's good. Yeah. You talking my language now, boy.
Yeah, gives a subtle hint of onion. And with no peeling, no crying. And I personally, I like the taste of onions, but I don't like onions.
Yeah.
It's there's something in my mouth that I don't really want in my mouth.
You don't like any onion.
No, doesn't matter. I don't like the consistency of onion.
Oh, no.
I like the taste. For instance, if I could take an onion and squeeze the juice out of it and put it into food, that'd be great. It'd be a little concentrated in certain areas, but
I got so much respect for my grandmother, man. She'd be in the kitchen and just be chopping up onions for hours, man. And I would never understand, the smell alone. You would walk in the front door and smell it all the way in the kitchen. You just
She never cried?
Never cried.
Oh, man.
That's it.
Well, she didn't let me see her cry. She's a very, very strong woman. How about that? We'll say that.
Well, I'll tell you what, the chives can do away with that. So you still get that onion flavor. Italian parsley. You ever go to a restaurant and they put a little piece of parsley on your plate? And you're what the heck are they doing that for?
A little garnish?
Did you know what that's for?
No.
Julio?
I know.
You're going to want to know this.
Right.
It's to freshen your breath.
Oh.
Really?
So you chew a little parsley. I'll go actually leave it out in the annual section. I'll grab a piece of parsley and start chewing on it. But I have to make sure it's not stuck in my teeth. I gotta help you.
If you're chewing on parsley in the nursery, it's going to be, I know it's probably a bad day for you.
No. It's maybe I just think my breath smells. But parsley is added to so many different dishes as well. And it gives it a fresh taste. It's wow, hey, it's alive.
It's really good.
Another one. And it's Italian parsley as opposed to curly parsley.
I'd probably be good in soup, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to put on a grill, but,
sure.
it goes through the grades.
Makes them salad, of course.
Yeah,
Salads,
you can't put it on aluminum foil, man. That's not really grilling. That's not grilling. Right, people put food directly on aluminum foil and not on the grill grate. That's not the same thing.
No, fish.
The fish,
Well, I take it back.
I pan sear it. I pan sear and then put it on the grill.
I'm not doing dishes. if I'm putting it on, I mean, the grill doesn't even get cleaned.
Right? Just to give it a little crisp so that it doesn't really get stuck to the grill.
You don't clean your grill?
No.
So you got all kind of flavors going on.
Well, you turn that grill all the way up, burn that stuff off. It turns white, you kind of just blow it off. It's those days where you forget to turn the grill off, you have a problem. So basil. Basil.
Can't do without that.
You can't. Basil in any of the the kitchen shows and stuff that you watch, like I'm Alton Brown fan,
Pesto.
and where I actually saw Alton Brown live in Wilmington, Delaware.
Nice. It was a cooking show?
It was. He had an enormous 30-foot air fryer where he made 1,000 wings.
This has got to be the 30 and up crew. You're going to cooking shows.
Well, hey, it was funny. He's very funny. That's why I like it.
That's cool.
There are a lot of little bits and pieces
Great
of those
personality.
Alton Brown fans.
Yeah.
It's like that's another show. Mm-hmm. I stole that from him. Anyway, so basil, there's purple leaf, there's green leaf, read the tags, because some basil, it has a little bit of a licorice flavor to it. And this is another one where I'd pinch the leaf and smell it. Abundanza. You want I don't Aaron's making faces.
Well, I mean, you mentioned licorice, man. I mean, the thing is,
anise.
I like the regular Twizzlers, but just not the black licorice flavor. That's just terrible. Licorice.
It's subtle, not like you're eating black licorice where you're mad at the aunt who bought you a bag of black licorice.
Yeah, it tastes like black jelly bean flavor.
Bread.
What is that flavor? That's the same thing, man. All right, I'm sorry.
Anise. That's what it tastes like.
Well, okay, all right.
And that where there's other rosemary where there's the small, tiny, little itty bitty leaves.
Right.
Honestly, I just get the most Italian one possible, and that works for everything. But I'm sure there are people out there, and call the hotline. The hotline is 609
what's going on with
685-1880. Let us know what type of basil you actually use. Now, don't tell me that you grow, I grow the proven winter variety. I don't want to know that. Because I want to know how you use it and how you use each variety. Like the purple basil, I could see where you would use it in salad because it would brighten it up and it would add a different color to it. But is it any other value other than it's purple? I do not believe so. So prove me wrong. Sure. But again, regular green, large leafed Italian basil, if you're getting started, that's what you want. That's what you want. And like I said, don't be afraid to press the leaf and smell it. Cilantro. Cilantro is strong.
It is.
Cilantro is a strong flavor. It looks just like Italian parsley. And for those of you from Bloomer's Home and Garden Center in the annual section, could you please stop putting the Italian parsley next to the cilantro? Okay, just because they look alike does not mean that they go together.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
It's not always used when it's fresh. A lot of people use it when it's dry, right. But like Mexican street corn, oh yeah. And that you'll use it in a lot of Mexican dishes. Willow, do you use cilantro when you cook?
No, I don't like it.
No, that's
too strong.
That's because you're Cuban, not Mexican.
Yeah, not Mexican.
Yeah, so in a lot of Mexican dishes, cilantro is used, and others as well. Thyme.
Oh yeah.
Now, here's another one where you get confused: English thyme or French thyme? I know that I hear more good things about French cooking than I do English cooking. Okay, so I'm going with French. Anytime it's whether it's going to be thyme or whether it could be tarragon, I'm going French. I don't know. To
me, it doesn't matter when it's time to eat.
Oh!
There it is. See what I did there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tip your bartenders.
I'm here all night. There we go.
Yeah, tip your producers. But again, thyme is one of those things where you need it when you need it, and that it grows real easy. It's perennial. It comes back. I think I have the same thyme plant for about 5 years now.
Yeah, you can't kill that.
No. Well,
you can.
You could.
But you try, yeah.
But it comes back pretty easy. Mostly like chicken dishes call for thyme, and when the later in this fall when you're doing soups and stews and stuff, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sage.
Yeah, another one.
So sage. Now, there are lots of different varieties, and there are different colors that are attractive. I mean, regular gray sage or green sage is what you go with. You can go with the tricolor sage because it has 3 different colors because it looks pretty, but it's all got the same taste.
Yeah.
Again, pinch the leaves.
For sure.
Okay, and that make sure nobody's looking. And you grab a leaf and you pinch it, and then you go to the next one, pinch it, and see if you smell a difference. And that smell is going to, like Aaron said, it kind of reverts to the flavor that you're going to get out of it. There's not a whole lot of differences for me. And again, please, listeners out there, call the hotline. Let us know if you think that, like, say, a German-style sage is different from, like, say, a tricolor sage, or there's different mixes too. There is pineapple sage.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, you could go crazy with herbs because, man, when you hit some of the times, even where there's lemon thyme, lime thyme, there's all these different times, but you want to keep it simple.
No Miller time?
No Miller time. Yeah.
All right.
No Miller time.
We got a comedian here.
That's pretty good.
That's my
I like
last
that.
pun for
Can
the
I
day.
steal that? I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And again, it finally, last one is tarragon.
Wow.
I cooked some salmon on the grill, and it was a simple recipe, really simple. So you take salmon, skin side down, and you slather it with a mixture of mayonnaise. Let's see, it was mayonnaise, mustard, and I like regular brown Gouldens mustard, and tarragon. And that it was terrific. It was terrific. And that it got a coating on, and I maybe went a little heavy-handed with it, but it coated the salmon, and that it actually got like a little bit of a crust to it,
like a crispy
from the marinade.
Oh, nice.
It was excellent, and that I needed fresh tarragon. No stuff from the little shaker bottle would do.
Or those
That's
little plastic
fresh
things that come in.
And tarragon is easy to grow. It's almost like thyme, where it does hang over a little bit. And again, there's different types of tarragon, but I always go French tarragon. I would always French tarragon.
I would say.
Consider creating 2 pots or 2 window boxes. One is for Italian food, and another one, say, for Mexican food. And it's just fun to be able to try new things, and that you can try something that's a little bit different. And you'll be amazed on how just a few plants increase the flavor of your barbecue. Right. It's pretty amazing awesome. Because it lightens the food and makes it awake.
It does.
So you'll enjoy it. So get out there. There's still stuff available. There's still herbs at your local garden center. We, for instance, at Bloomers just brought a whole bunch of herbs in, and that most of the ones that we're talking about are still we keep in stock. So get out there and
get the real thing.
Yep. Get out there and get on the barbecue.
There you go.
We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Wanting to up your game in the vegetable garden? With 90 years of organic gardening experience, the Espoma Company has you covered. Espoma Organic Garden Tone is not your average garden variety fertilizer. Garden Tone is especially blended for organic vegetable gardens. Its all-natural formula contains Biotone, a blend of organic ingredients that supplies essential nutrients for strong, healthy plants and mouth-watering vegetables. Its slow-release formula provides continuous feeding. The Biotone contained in Garden Tone is a combination of organic ingredients and beneficial microbes to help roots grow deeper and faster for bigger, more bountiful harvests. Garden Tone is simple to use and safe for people, pets, and the planet. No harmful chemicals or synthetic fertilizers are ever added. You can find Garden Tone at fine garden centers. Visit espoma.com to find a retailer near you. Garden Tone from Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
Last year, millions of Americans asked the internet about protecting their lawns and gardens. There's one simple answer: Bio Advanced. Because gardeners have trusted the Blue Bottle for decades. Invasive insects? Blue Bottle. Lawn fungus? Blue Bottle. Japanese beetles? Blue Bottle. A Bio Advanced answer for every question and guaranteed solutions for every problem. Bio Advanced. Get more from the Blue Bottle. Bio Advanced all-in-one rose and flower care controls insects and diseases, plus feeds.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Southern Magnolias with their enormous white lemony fragrance flowers. Large evergreen glossy leaves and versatily of uses are something to consider adding to your yard. It's a plant that, Len, has gotten some attention, and lately I think it's going to be a winner in the area.
It used to be that you couldn't grow it because everybody thought it wasn't hardy.
Right.
Southern Magnolia. Right. And that's different than the Salesiana type magnolia, which is the one that blooms in early spring. Mm-hmm. Big flowers, usually pink and pinks and I guess it's magenta, a little bit of, there's white. Like, for instance, a star magnolia is that kind. Mm-hmm. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about the evergreen type, Southern Magnolia. Mm-hmm. I have a variety called Bracken's Brown Beauty. Bracken's Brown Beauty has green glossy leaf, and underneath is it's brown. It's like a dark tan, and it is, Julio. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It is 40 feet tall. Mm-hmm. It is a caliper that now is about 2 foot. 2 foot. Oh, wow. It is a big tree, and it's probably about 25 foot wide. Yes, it's big. And
it's a massive.
And let me warn you that sometimes they can be a little messy, because what happens is when they send out those buds, that the flowers start blooming, and that some of the old growth falls off. Like, so if you think about like evergreen azaleas, or you think about regular evergreens, and you open up and you look at the center, and they're all dead in the middle because it's not getting any light. The magnolias will do basically the same thing, because they're an evergreen. You're going to get some leaf drop, and you just take care of it and pick it up. Mm-hmm. But you've got to check the variety and check the tags. One of the things that I love is that where you in the introduction call them, they're a gem, right? So little gem magnolia is a narrow growing variety. Yeah. I love that because it can be used in the landscape real easy. Real easy.
Science.
It is. It comes down to science. Yeah, and that would be my first choice.
Little gem.
Yep, little gem. Because, again, it's columnar, so it's not going to grow real wide, and maybe 10 foot at maturity as opposed to my 25 foot. Right now it's covered in giant white flowers.
How big are they?
The flowers are probably about 10 inches across.
Wow.
And that the buds, when they come out, the buds swell, and they're like, they somebody would think they're an upside down pine cone. And as they split, they open up and they flower. Hummingbirds are attracted to them. Really? Wow. And that when the flowers drop their petals, then once they're pollinated, because you'll get all kinds of pollinated. Bees.
Love it.
Bees. If you want to do something for your pollinators and bees, plant one of these. They will go through, and it's kind of interesting because when the gets pollinated, you all of a sudden see these little white pieces drop from the tree, and it's like, what the heck's going on? But what that's happening is a bee is pollinating the flower, and it's knocking the little pieces of the flower on to the ground. And when it's coming from 25 feet up, you're thinking, is it snowing? What's going on? But it's actually just the bees that are pollinating the flower. Now, a beautiful thing about the flowers, once they're pollinated, in the fall, they ripen and they turn red. They turn to a pink color. And they have red fruit inside. Berries, huh? So it opens up, and it becomes like that cone, like I said, that looks like, but it looks like now, once it's pollinated and the flowers have all dropped, there's like this little thing, also looks like a cone that goes from a brown color to, and it's in a pleasant brown. It's not like dead brown. It's a pretty tan. And then it goes to and ripens to pink. Wow. So it's very cool. Yeah, and then again, it gets the fruit. Birds will eat it. It is just absolutely. I have some squirrels that will go in there, and all of a sudden you'll hear a boom, and what happens is it's taken one of those seed heads and it drops to the ground, and then they scamper and grab it, and they go and eat it. I tell you, it is the only bad thing is if you are the owner of a garden center, that the people that work for you steal all the branches to use at Christmas. So it's getting limbed up. I don't think anybody can reach it anymore. No. So hopefully this will be the last one. Again, underneath. Well, how about this? It's underused as a screen in a hedge. I mean, if you want to block your neighbors, this is a great way to block your neighbors. Yes. And that you could use these and intermix them with evergreens, like a conifer type evergreen, and it would make a great screen. And the flowers on them alone, because you can see them you're going to see a 10-inch flower.
Oh yeah, you can't miss that.
You can't miss that. Yeah. As the little gem for a second-story corner landscape plant, fantastic. Oh, yeah. And like, for instance, I have it. It is actually used for a specimen tree that's planted on the property. It's getting closer as it grows. It's getting closer to the house, but it's probably, it's pretty full grown at this point. Beautiful. Little gem is the one that we've talked about several times. That I would put in a hedge or a landscape plant, okay? Because again, 25 foot tall by 10 to 15 foot wide. And that's at maturity. Everybody asks, well, how big does it get? And I was like, well, you'll be dead. You're never going to see it. That. You let the next owner of the house, but because they don't necessarily all grow that fast. Yeah. Mine, I planted, it was big. It was at least 2-inch caliper when I planted it. And it had one of those balls on it that was like,
B&B.
It was B&B. Yeah. Wire basket B&B. Wow. And that I've had it there for over 30 years. Wow. So that tree's been there for a long time.
Takes time.
And that variety that I own is Bracken Brown's Beauty. Reaches, like I said, I'm at 40 feet tall. 40. At 50 foot is the total height, 30 foot wide, from 15 to 30 foot wide. And it just, honestly, it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. Yeah, also known as a little bit hardier than some of the other varieties. But so far, everything that we're telling you about are the hardy varieties. Timeless Beauty is a slower growing one, 15 to 20 foot high and about 20 foot wide. Another great evergreen hedge. But you have to space them out a little bit. Also works well in the landscape. And if you've got a 2-story house, this is a type of plant that you can put in because it's a soft look. It's all color, texture, and form, And that this has got the form, it has the texture, and it certainly has the color from being an evergreen. These plants are in full leaf in January, February. That they're a great plant. Again, we're talking about Southern Magnolias. I have some neighbors behind me that I want to screen out. I live adjacent to it's new to me, but it's probably been there 10 years. 55 and older community, and I built a nice screen, and they thought that was their property, and they limbed some of my trees up. I know who you are.
They're trying to look over.
We're going to say goodbye. And that one of the plants that is really, I have a 20-foot, it's not very tall, but I have a very wide section where it's magnolias blocking. All I have to say is 55 and older and new hot tub. That's it. Anyway, you do the mental image. I want to block that out.
Yeah. Nice row.
And in any case, that I'm going to probably do a couple of more magnolias. I'm going to do some hemlocks because it is shaded. And I'm also going to use, which is a very similar texture and feel, is the skipjack laurel.
Skipjack, huh?
So I'll put some cherry laurel back there, and that will fill where they limbed up some of the trees that they thought was theirs. Yeah. So anyway, go plant a southern magnolia. Beautiful plant. You'll love it. It will grow, and its flower is the bonus. And that when you go up and to get that flower, you know what I heard somebody do with that they were, unlike me, I can't reach the flowers any longer, but they would take the magnolia flowers and they would float them in their pool.
Oh, boy.
That's so cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I missed out.
Yeah.
Anyway, plant a southern magnolia. If you've got questions on southern magnolias or any tree for that matter, call the hotline at 609-685-1880.
1880.
What's that number?
1880.
Come on, I'm testing you guys.
Let's say it again.
Say it again, Julio.
Let's do it together, guys.
All right, 609-685-1880.
Call the hotline.
Call the hotline, and we'll give you the answers to all of your garden questions.
We got you.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. We are proud to announce that Bloomers in the Garden has partnered with Renewal by Andersen of Greater Philadelphia, Delaware, South Jersey, and Southern Maryland. Renewal by Andersen is the top window and door company in the United States, specializing in replacement windows and doors. You might be thinking right now, what the heck do windows have to do with gardening? Well, Renewal by Andersen makes this beautiful garden bay window that's energy efficient and made from recycled materials. It's perfect for growing the finest indoor plants possible. When you are looking out your windows filled with plants in your beautiful garden, you don't want to see old windows that are cloudy, warped, or even rotting. That's why people in the horticulture community love Renewal by Andersen. Not only do we want our gardens to be beautiful, but their homes as well. Renewal by Andersen participates in horticultural events such as flower shows, earth days, and eco fairs. To get more information and set up a free home consultation, please visit www.philadelphiawindow.com and be sure to tell them Bloomers in the Garden sent you. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Well, Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. During a break, we're talking about Aaron joined a new band.
Yeah, right.
Eye candy.
Talking about rim shots.
Eye candy.
We're talking about rim shots.
Anyway. Okay. Julio. Shade trees. Shade trees have become an important topic for me personally.
Sure.
Just simply, I had an oak that was a pin oak. And some pin oaks you may be having problems with where they look like they're stunting or whole branches, large branches, maybe dying out. There is insect disease issues with oaks, so just keep an eye on that. I lost a full-size oak that cost $1,000 to take down, but it shaded my deck.
Yeah.
Anybody have a Trex deck?
Not yet. I'm getting one, though.
Yeah, I had people tell me, "Oh, they get hot." I was like, "Oh, yeah, well, whatever." Yeah. First time when the weather got warm and I walked out on there, I left the bottom of my feet on the deck. I mean, it was like walking on coals.
Oh my gosh!
So it's like the sun rays plus the surface heat. It's amplified. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it didn't have the shade of my tree was gone, and that we built the deck before actually after. Let me make this straight. After the tree was taken down, we built the deck, and I still absolutely would build the same deck. So I needed to pick out a shade tree to replace my oak.
What did you get?
What did I get? It's funny you should ask. Yeah. I got a shade. No, let's see. It was a think, Len. Think. Use your brain. See, this is a problem working with these guys. I can never figure out what the heck I want to talk about. I used a Japanese Zelkova.
Japanese.
Okay. Green vase, Japanese Zelkova. Zelkova is a replacement. Like, have you guys ever heard of Dutch elm disease? Dutch elm disease killed all the elms, and elm trees were all over the United States, and Dutch elm disease wiped them out. And that there are some resistant varieties that they've come up with, but they were all looking for replacements. So basically, there's the Zelkova is the best replacement for it. I would probably have tried some of those other elm, that are don't have the susceptible to the disease, but being I just took down my full size oak, I didn't want to mess around, And
why did you choose Zelkova?
Because
Japanese.
it gets to be the right size, so it's going to be a large shade tree. So you think about one of those trees that you see has a big round canopy that you kind of like have a picnic under. Sure. Yeah, and that's the type of thing I was looking for. Right, okay. 60 feet tall. In
whose lifetime?
Well, exactly. The house will be up for sale and gone before I see that. But it will grow fast enough to shade the deck a little bit.
Understood.
So
that's better than me because when our tree, when we have an oak in North Jersey, and it fell unfortunately, and now I have a pile of wood
pieces,
oak chips.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't replace it.
Now, did it die all of a sudden, or did it?
It died all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wouldn't produce any leaves. And it actually was going hollow.
Okay.
Yeah, it was going hollow.
A lot of times the disease that's affecting the oaks is slow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen that fast. But what happens is you just don't notice
I didn't notice
You don't notice it.
Yeah. Because, it's right next to another tree. And I don't know what the type of tree it was. But
well, here's a couple of suggestions.
Sure.
First of all, when you're planting a tree, and this was essential for me, because I am now a new grandfather.
Hey,
call me Grandpa. I have a shirt that says Grandpa. Like a dad, but cooler.
I'm going to buy you a shirt that says, "I love it when you call me Big Papa."
Big Papa. Well, I don't know. I'd be happy if I got one, though. So if you're going to plant a tree, you want to plant a shade tree, it's going to get big. So it has that. It's going to cast shade. The ideal for getting free air conditioning is so that casts a shade on your house. Yeah. And my house is very cool. I'm very fortunate where I do have a lot of shade around my house.
Yeah, you're surrounded.
And that's right. And one of those shade trees is a southern magnolia.
There you go.
That southern magnolia casts shade on my house. But also, you want to think about all right, what about if I just wanted to put it in as a lawn tree? You have to have enough space in your yard to be able to play football. All right. That's it. Wiffle ball.
Yeah.
You have to be able to play. So don't put it like in the middle of the lawn where all of a sudden now it becomes an obstacle.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know one of those kids, and you know that neighbor kid that comes over and like he's not paying attention and runs right into the trunk. And, then you got to explain to the parents. It's like, he was running. And it's like, you should have never planted that tree there. So keep it towards the edges so that you still have an open field to play in. Smaller trees. When are they going to get full tides? I only want something that grows 15 feet. Yeah.
Is that a tree?
You get that mower out, and every time you get that mower out, you're scratching your back because they got to go underneath and cut it. Go with the bigger tree. Go with the bigger tree. The smaller trees are PIA. They just are. And
especially when you have like 3 acres. You ever see?
What's 3 acres? Where are you living?
Or an acre.
An acre?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got 10,000 square feet, that's a lot of room. Where do you get 3 acres? My God, that's the size of Bloomers.
I know, but there's people who have that, and they don't have any trees at all.
Oh.
They take them down. Or
That's a farm.
They can afford not to. Anyway, I don't know where you're going with that, but okay.
Acres.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Anyway, back to smaller trees. Like if you're going to do like a weeping cherry, consider maybe doing a Kwanzaa cherry instead. It's more vase shaped. It does have a tendency to mound once it gets older, but it requires some pruning and training. Don't think that you're going to get away with not putting away the shears, because you can't fear
the shears,
right? All right, northern red oak, great tree, not susceptible to the same issues as the pin oak. Shade Master honey locust, great tree. Native red maples, okay? Native red maples, not silver maples. Silver maples are out. No, don't do it. Don't. Native red maples. That would be, if you look on the tag, it would be Acer rubrum, depending on the variety. That would be right after that. Great fall color. They're the ones that get brilliant red. Sugar maples, beautiful orange colors in the fall. Plant a tree. Plant a tree. So often that like, I know where you're going at. There's some trees that the property looks barren.
Bare, yeah.
It looks like it's just missing something. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to plant a tree right in front of your door. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, even if it's 50 feet away, you want your door to be seen from the street and see your landscape. You kind of want it towards the edge of your property lines, whether that's front, back, what have you. Check your city ordinances for street trees between the sidewalk and curb.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You've seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, again, plant a street tree, and if you've got room on the side of your house to block some of that heat that we're getting during the summer.
The southern end, yeah.
Yep. So get out there. If you got questions, you know what to do. Call the hotline. We'll be right back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Do you remember seeing that light green grass growing high in your yard late last June? Well, that was nutsedge grass. It always had a lighter green color, and it always grew faster than the rest of the lawn, and you'd find it in other places like along the sidewalk. It is the worst weed in the world. It's hard to get rid of, and what you need to use is Fertilome's Weed Out Nutsedge Control. It will control both yellow and purple nutsedge, plus over 50 broadleaf weeds such as dandelions, clover, chickweed, and ground ivy. Fertilome's Weed Out Nutsedge Control gets absorbed by the roots and the leaves, and within days the sedges are gone. You may even reseed after 4 weeks of spraying the nutsedge. So when you start seeing those light green glass sprays growing in your yard, make sure you purchase Fertilome's Weed Out Nutsedge Control to kill any nutsedge threatening to invade your nice green lawn. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hummingbirds are amazing jewels that visit our flowers each summer, and they are coming now.
They are. I've got hummingbirds.
Yep.
I've got hummingbirds. I had my future mother-in-law and father-in-law over yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I was hoping a hummingbird would come visit. They didn't.
They didn't?
They didn't, but again, it was a real nice visit.
Yeah, good.
You need to be fed. And that,
what
let's
they're looking for.
Let's start with nectar. Okay. Here's a recipe for nectar that's very simple, and you don't necessarily have to boil it. So just let me get that out of the way. You take regular sugar, cane sugar, 4 parts water. So one part of the cane sugar to 4 parts water. Anything that happens like fermentation, like it's not going to last longer outside because it's when they go to the microorganisms build outside. It's not like in the sugar or hopefully not in your water. And then you just make enough that you store it into your refrigerator. I have a batch in my refrigerator right now that's in an old Gatorade bottle. And I actually use something that it is almost a preservative in a way. What it does is it makes it last longer. So I can get 2 weeks outside.
So you're adding something to that.
I'm adding something to that. Yeah. And that, again, the mixture of the 1 part sugar to 4 parts water, and it basically mirrors what they're getting out of, the hummingbirds are getting out of the flowers. So it's sucrose with about 21% content. So I personally, that ends up being clear. I like red mixes.
Yeah.
The dye comes from a hibiscus flower, and it's because I'm getting older. It's like is it empty? I can't see that darn thing, and then I've got to go walk out and find out. No, there's still stuff in it.
So they have this red food now.
Yeah, it's been around. That's been around forever. But the difference is it used to have an artificial dye that would actually hurt the hummingbirds. So, again, this variety that we have, if you go onto YouTube and subscribe to our channel, please give us a review that it comes from the hibiscus flower, so it's completely organic. But I tell you what, unless you plant with some plants, you're going to only be getting half of the side of cardinal flower is an awesome perennial that can be used for it. Foxglove, lupin, let's see, hosta, agastache. Agastache is a great one. Agastache. Columbines are early. Cannas. Crocosmia, absolutely. Crocosmia is the one. I always hate the name because the variety is called Lucifer.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't need any help. So again, Crocosmia is one. You always see that picture of a hummingbird like on a Crocosmia flower. For shrubs, some vines here: trumpet vine, honeysuckle, butterfly bush, rose of Sharon. If you're looking for annuals, petunias, lantana, fuchsias. Fuchsias. I have a great big red fuchsia, and that's one of the things I think I was attracting. And again, if you're looking on YouTube, we have for the 4th of July, we have a red, white, and blue collection of plants today, and that it's mandevilla. They're attracted to red. Also on feeders, I've got a new feeder where it is to feed the insects that hummingbirds actually eat. They don't just drink, go and have, nectar bar. Let's go out to the bar. But what they do is they do eat some small insects, so like fruit flies and stuff. So you put bananas in the bottom of this feeder, but it's also a nectar feeder. So they get both the protein from the little insects, and then they also get the nectar as well.
Nice. Look at that.
It's very cool. I can't say that it's been great, but I don't think they've seen it yet. And hummingbirds have an amazing way that they know that a lot of them too, that they will make that trip, that this is their second go around, that they know where where the best spots were. And it's Schroeder's Diner when they go to, whether it's my regular bird seed or my hummingbirds, is that you establish yourself on a route for these hummingbirds where they go here and they go here and they go to Julio's house and they go to Aaron's house and then they come to my house. And that's one thing. Got to make sure that your hummingbird feeders are always full. Do not let them dry out. All right. We got to take a break. Be back in the garden right after this.
Spring is here, and people have a lot of questions about weed and feed. There's one simple answer. Bio Advanced 5-in-1 Weed and Feed. Just one application kills lawn weeds and prevents new weeds and crabgrass up to 6 months. And if crabgrass is already growing, it kills that too. Plus, 5-in-1 feeds and greens your lawn. Bio Advanced 5-in-1 Weed and Feed. Get more from the blue bag.
Here's the dirt on potting mixes. They're not all created equal. Espoma Organic Potting Mix gives roots the ideal balance of air and moisture. It contains a special blend of beneficial mycorrhiza to help grow stronger roots, bigger plants, and more bountiful blooms. Try Espoma Organic Potting Mix indoors and out for all your potted flowers, vegetables, and you'll see why it's the best. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you. Organic potting mix from Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. So, Julio, what's bugging you?
Oh, I'll tell you what.
I know what it is.
Yeah, I know.
Powdery mildew.
Yeah, we have it.
Powdery mildew. It's kind of, you look at your plant, and all of a sudden it looks like somebody took, baby powder and dusted your plant. And that it doesn't wipe off very easy. It's like it's
in there.
It just stuck to it.
Yeah.
And that a lot of times people say, well, but my plants are like, we've had such dry weather and that I don't have a sprinkler system. And how come I have it? And that it will come both with conditions that are wet and dry.
Yeah. Most people think it's wet.
Right. And this is one that is both. It can cover tomato plants. You can eggplant. All different types of plants. Cucumbers. Cucumbers can be real pain. Roses as well. And it's like these gray. It's a gray powder that covers them. So if you see that, how is it hurting your plant? Well, one, it's cutting down any of the sun that should be getting to the leaves of your plant. And what you need to do is, it's very simple. You can spray it. Bio Advance, for instance, has a couple of great products that are easy and that also controls other things, where there's all-in-one rose and flower care. It's a granule. It's 4 pounds, but it's going to be a little slower to work. That will work. But the liquid is the better choice. So, again, it's the all-in-one rose and flower care. Well, that will work a little bit faster. There's also the Fertilome has a couple of good choices. F-Stop is one. Okay, there's also Triple Action. Triple Action. Yeah. So that has neem oil in it, and that helps disease and insect. And again, we're talking about powdery mildew. It looks like your plant is coated like a white dust. and it doesn't wipe off. It doesn't spray off when you try to hose it off. And that can kill your plant. And what it does is it makes your plant weak so other things go to it. So make sure that you use, again, I would really use the BioAdvance along with, because that's a systemic, it takes a while to work, along with, like, say, the F-stop or the triple action from Fertilome. Triple action from Fertilome will also, it'll work quicker because it's neem oil. It's a contact, not a systemic. That's pretty much it.
That's it, huh?
Powdery mildew, got questions, you know what to do. Call that hotline at 609-685-1880. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
If you're like me, then you absolutely love birds. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center has you covered. They're dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds of all sorts. Want to bring more birds to your yard? Then you got to see this place. Bloomers has a huge flock of feeders, birdhouses, birdseed, and much, much more. Want to feed the birds and not the squirrels? They have this absolutely cool bronze bird feeder that will drive those sneaky squirrels nuts. They'll be moving to the next door neighbor in no time. OMG. Bloomers have these absolutely adorable birdhouses that will turn your yard into the perfect bird B&B. They carry all types of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. Bloomer stocks, Lyric, Coles, CNS, Pine Tree Farms, and much, much more that will keep those beautiful birds coming back for more. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County. For more information and directions, check them out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, you got to see this place.
Here we are, Julio.
Hell yes. This
Back
is
in the schoolyard.
Yeah, but I tell you.
Yeah.
Trees, huh?
Big trees.
Yeah,
big on trees this show. And I'll tell you, I also planted a Franklinia tree.
Oh, yes.
And, Julio
There's
knows.
a history behind that.
I gave Julio a Franklinia tree
15 years ago.
A long time ago. And that's known for this area, for Ben Franklin. Look it up.
Yep.
Look it up. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Sam. Great job. I don't have to have you cut anything. We actually made it in time. Up 3 seconds over. We'll see you next week right here in the garden.
We'll see you in the garden.